I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at my website, starborninstitute.org, you'd already know that the title of tonight's show is A Forever Miracle. What kind of miracle is that? It would be a miracle that would denote a new beginning that lasts forever. In other words, whoever is going to bring about this miracle will have the vision and the dedication to make something that is so beneficial for mankind that it will outlive them. And so it will go on forever. Because after all of us, our lives do end at one point or another. But people with unique vision now that really care about what's going on in the world and want to do something to help it out are going to be able to create a forever miracle. And that is because the planets are in undeniable positions this week that are so unique. I think that that's what's going to happen. It's not something that's going to happen for a day or two. It is going to go on for centuries. And it may be more than one thing. And so it's amazing that people with vision and dedication can step forward right now and really try to work together. Maybe they're going to form a band of miracle workers. Maybe they could come from all over the world. Who knows? But they could be people that really care about improving the human condition in one way or another. And it wouldn't stop with just one small group. It would probably be something that started small, but then would go and grow and grow and grow to benefit people all over the world and perhaps for centuries to come. So that is something that I think is on the agenda for right now. And why would it be now? Well, because it could have happened sooner. It isn't just like we're all going to wake up tomorrow and suddenly have vision about how to perform miracles. It can be that people who are unique, that are born with some sort of creative vision or some desire to really benefit the world, it might have been that before life got in the way, particularly in their way. In other words, they could have wanted to do something pretty special, but the choices that they make, or the job they had to do, or the duties they had to fulfill, never quite reached that height of achievement that they had been envisioning. So why could it happen now? Well, first of all, because their lives may have changed. And so they may be in a better position to work on a forever miracle. And the reason why is that there are some very unusual things happening in the heavens. And one thing is something that happened before. And it is that the sign of Cancer has no oppositions to it, and it has no squares to it. And that is happening today, right now. And so you can't go wrong if you're a Cancer. But Cancer rules America, and it rules Canada. That's the northern hemisphere. And it rules Ukraine. So with no oppositions and no squares to that sign of nurturing, it simply means, and since Cancer rules endings, it can be that there are some very gifted people around who are dedicated and have vision. They can sort of see things the way they wish they were, and they can have the fortitude, or they can be at a time in their lives when they are in a perfect position to join up with others, particularly with another partner, who can then go ahead with them and pretty much accomplish a miracle. And it wouldn't happen overnight, but there's nothing stopping it either. And so we need to take a look at what the planets are doing. First of all, they're rather evenly dispersed. There are planets that are trining each other in the water signs, 4 of them. There's another 3 planets that are trining each other in the earth signs. And there are 2 planets that are trining themselves in the air signs, and there is 1 planet in a fire sign. So every element has something going on in it, which is good. But the sign of Cancer is not only loaded, it just has nothing stopping it. And so let's take a little look at those 4 planets that are trining each other in the water signs, because Cancer is a water sign. And what we see is something so unusual that is why I think we are at the start or the beginning of a forever miracle. Now, what world's miracles? Pisces. Pisces is a water sign. Well, there's 2 planets in Pisces, and they're trining the 2 in Cancer. And so what does that mean? It means something very unusual right now. And that is because these 4 planets are perfectly trining each other. All 4 of them. And they aren't doing it in quite the same way. So let's take a look at that more closely. Venus is at 29 degrees, the 29th degree of fate in Cancer. There's no more room left to move in the sign, but that's why they call the 29th degree the degree of fate in any sign. It means there's no more room, and so, it's sort of like, this is it. But it's Venus there. And Venus in Cancer, remember, without any squares or oppositions to it, is exactly trining Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, also at the 29th degree of fate. And Pisces rules miracles, and Neptune is retrograde. So people with vision or great love, perhaps for each other, may not have been able to do anything about that until a little later in their lives, because life got in the way in one way or another. And now it is possible. And that is because Neptune is the strongest planet because it's at home in the sign it rules. But it's retrograde, meaning that if we wanted to make a dream come true, we'd have to sort of go back to it. And I think that's what people are doing now. They're saying, okay, life got in the way. I've done different things in my life. Now it's time to fulfill my vision. And what would that vision be based on? A divine love for each other. So there are going to be people coming together now that really care about each other. And why is that? Because a Venus trine with Neptune in any sign is the sign of your ideal love, or your ideal person, or somebody you think is the most wonderful person in the world. And it's somebody that you could spend a lifetime with. Maybe that never happened, but there could have been a lot of delay. There could have been reasons for that. Only there doesn't seem to be much of a reason to delay anymore. Not with Venus trining Neptune exactly, and both of them being at the 29th degree of fate. So it should have happened before. But if you still have somebody real special in your heart, remember Venus rules love, and in your dreams, Neptune rules dreams, you're sort of at a last-ditch chance to make that divine love come true. I don't think there's very much stopping you either. In fact, I don't think there's anything stopping you. And so, based on a rather divine love, in Pisces, the highest form of Pisces is divinity. It's having a pure love, or a very high love, one that is your highest ideal. Something to really reach for and live up to and love for the rest of your life, or a dream like that. And so, 2 people who share a vision and think that each other is, a really wonderful person, could be getting together, and this divine love that they have could unify their goals and plans going forward. Okay? I mean, you got to have the base for everything first before you can do any building. And so there is a possibility of a divine love somewhere that does finally happen. And it's based on seeing the very best in somebody and being convinced it's really there and admiring them for it and then getting together. So that basis of divine love is what gives people the confidence and the courage to go forward now and follow their dreams or follow their goals and their plans, and perhaps attract other people as well who are all concerned with making it maybe a better world in one way or another. And so they could be the miracle workers that are starting to make a forever miracle. That's not really as far-fetched as it sounds. It's not at all far-fetched. I mean, you can't argue with the math. You can't argue with where these planets are. And so the second pair of planets that are also trining each other are the Sun today in Cancer at 19 degrees. And it is exactly trining Saturn in Pisces, retrograde, also at 19 degrees. 19 is a number that reduces to 10 because we reduce numbers by adding digits. So 1 plus 9 equals 10, which is still a double-digit number. So we add it again. 1 plus 0 equals 1, the number of new beginnings. Okay, so now it's looking that after a long delay, that Sun is what's trining Saturn. I mean, these two planets, they don't work the same way. The Sun is bright and sunny. And Saturn is very realistic, down to earth, and hardworking. But it can go the distance and does represent obstructions and delays. But it looks like there's been enough of that because there's going to be a new beginning. And part of it could be coming from behind the scenes because it had been delayed for so long. And because Saturn is a planet of delay. But that Sun is reaching out to that Saturn exactly and trining it. And it's sort of like saying, come on, I'm the giver of life. Let's get going on something new. And that is how this miracle can get underway. And so it isn't something that's going to happen overnight. It's something that might benefit generations of people to come. And it will outlast the people who created it. But now's the time when the creation's going to occur. And why will it be successful? The reason it'll be successful is because the base of it was the divine love that people had for each other. That's what's going to make it succeed. And so it doesn't mean that they won't have more delays or that they won't encounter obstacles or that their plans wouldn't change in some way. Okay, that can all happen, but the divine love isn't going anywhere. And that's the basis to succeed in the end. So what we are seeing now is we are seeing the opportunity for people, particularly two people, to get together without any obstruction now, with no more delays, who think the world of each other and who have vision. Not everyone has vision, but the people with vision are the people that other people could say, oh, I think that's a little crazy. I mean, I don't know if that could happen or not. But the people with vision say, oh, I think it could. Or let's give it a try. Or why don't we explore some new way of doing something? And so this forever miracle, well, what could it be? I mean, I'm building this up right now, right? I'm not doing it. I'm just telling you where the planets are. They're doing it. And they're in a position that denotes a new beginning for a long-delayed divine love that is the basis for creating a wonderful forever miracle. And it really could happen, and it could be more than one. Sort of depends on how the vision is carried out and how many other miracle workers join. So let's ask ourselves, what could a really nice miracle be? Could these people end a disease? Could they just eradicate a whole disease throughout the world? That's a pretty tall order. Yeah, maybe they could. Could they end hunger in the world in one way or another? Maybe by teaching people how to cultivate food. There is an old proverb that a person with a vision would have the ability to understand and follow. So I'll share it with you because over time it has proved to be very true. If you give a man a fish, he'll be able to eat a meal. But if you teach a man to fish, he can feed his family forever. That would come under the heading of a forever miracle, because it would end that hunger for that man and his family and their families. Do you see what I mean? If people with vision get together and say, you know, I think we could eradicate an illness throughout the world if we just keep working on it. Or they say, you know, there might be a way to stop hunger by teaching people how to do that. Well, that's possible. Or could these miracle workers, could they find a way somehow to limit or end very strong weather destructive patterns that destroy people's homes or take away their livelihoods, or great floods that are created? Is there a way we could stop that, or at least tamp it down a little bit? That would certainly be a miracle, wouldn't it? But people with vision who can sort of see out there beyond what most of us can see, maybe they could do it. The stars are with them. So I just thought I'd let you know, if you've got a great big miracle that would end up being a forever miracle, in other words, it might last longer than you do, I would urge you to go for it. This is a perfect time. And also, you would be doing it from your heart. You'd be doing it with someone you care about. You'd be doing it with somebody that you admire and that you think they're wonderful. It would be based on divine love. And because love is eternal, that's what would make the forever miracle work. If love is eternal, it means that whoever is sharing that love right now, that divine love, even if there's been a million delays, and they can do it now, they could make a wonderful miracle occur, because that love is the basis for it all. And so that's what can carry it on and help others over time, lasting longer than whoever it is that created the miracle. That's okay. So I want to urge you to believe in yourself and believe in your dreams, because the transit of Neptune, which, as I said, is the strongest planet in the heavens, it's at the 29th degree of fate, and it's going backwards, meaning, okay, got to play catch up here. And Neptune's transit is about 146 years. So it's only in its own sign every 146 years. Okay, so it's not coming back. Once it leaves Pisces, it's not coming back in our lifetimes to Pisces. And it's going to act completely differently in Aries when it goes into Aries. So this is our time now. Pretty much at the last minute, since it's at the 29th degree of fate, but trining Venus exactly also at the 29th degree of fate. How rare is that? That's just, that in itself is miraculous. But the Sun is in Cancer as well. Remember, unopposed, not squared, nothing. And it's trining Saturn, the planet of hard work and time and results. And it's retrograde, meaning it's almost a last chance for some people to get their act together and go for their dream and follow their vision and try to get other people to help them out. A forever miracle, it may not happen overnight, but you keep working on it, it will. You have to have faith, not only in each other, but in your goal, which is to benefit mankind. Not to give a man a fish for one meal, but to teach him how to fish, so all of his family can eat. And think about your family. Maybe you could do something to help them, or maybe you could just help the whole family of man. And you could do it anytime you decided you wanted to, because this is a time when a forever miracle could happen. So don't give up on anything. Okay, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Aries. Well, Aries, there is one planet in a fire sign. That's good. And it is Mercury, which is in Leo, and it is trining your sun, Aries, which means you could get sort of lucky. Leo rules a lot of fun things, and it's the summertime anyway. So you may be having, since your sign does rule new starts, you could have your mind on making a new start right now, Aries, and it would be sort of fun in one way or another. You'd be doing it with other people that you get along with, or that, you know, that you just have a good time with. That would be great. And so it's one thing to be able to make plans and have meetings and, you know, plan budgets and everything else. It's another thing to get out there and actually start committing the money. That's what I would be careful about, Aries. And the reason why is, first of all, Mercury is the only planet that's trining your sun. There aren't any others. And your ruler, Mars, is still being tightly conjuncted by Uranus in Taurus, which is another malefic planet. And so there is an indication right ahead of you that something's going to cost quite a bit of money, or else you could be walking into something that is, it's going to be an unexpected financial problem of some sort. It may not be anything that you caused, Aries. It's just going to be something that maybe nobody can solve, and so you'll have to address a financial issue, and I would say, I would describe it as a shortfall. There will be a financial shortfall, since your ruler is the one coming up so hard against Uranus, and they're both malefic planets. So I think that you're going to have to go back to the drawing board, Aries, if you want to start something new right now, and either trim your budget or else keep planning. You know, just keep planning for a while. You don't have to be spending money right now. You could get your plans up. Maybe you could take a summer vacation before you start the work on a new project. And as long as it didn't cost any money and you could just sort of sit back and relax, that would be fine. The weather's good. But as far as spending money, I don't think that would be a good idea, Aries, and I hope that you hold back on the spending of something right now. And that is because your ruler, Mars, is under duress. It is being squared by that Mercury in Leo. It's being squared by Pluto in Aquarius, and it's being conjuncted by Uranus. It's sort of like Mars is coming up and wants to do it their way, and Uranus is coming up and saying, we're gonna have a clash here. And so I think that what you should do is step back a little bit. If you could solve a financial problem and get it solved right now, that would be a lot better than trying to go out and spend some money right now. Just get your books in order first, Aries, and then go on vacation a little bit, rest up, because you could be pretty busy later on. But I would say you can only go so far on enthusiasm, and the bottom line is, sooner or later you have to have the budget to succeed. And I don't think it's there right now, but fighting about money isn't going to do you any good either. I would suggest you sell something. It would give you more money, and try not to spend too much right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Taurus. Well, Taurus, as I was explaining to Aries, you have two planets that are really coming up against each other because they're both conjuncting each other. A conjunction occurs when two planets on their orbits, you know, they're in their own orbits, but when they come up to 7 degrees or closer of the same degree, then that means there's no other energy that can break that up. They're too close in their alignment. And therefore, when planets conjunct, they have a very powerful effect. They almost compound their strength. Well, that wouldn't be so bad if they were good planets, but Taurus, in your sign, they're not. They're malefic planets, and they are Uranus and Mars. And there's a conflict there about money somewhere in your life, Taurus, because Pluto in Aquarius is squaring your sun, which means there's a management change that will affect you in one way or another. It could be on your job, or it could be something that you were looking forward to, but it's not going to be possible because of budgetary constraints, or because the power at a higher level changes, and they may have their own ideas that don't coincide with yours, Taurus. And then also Mercury in Leo is squaring the planets in your sign, and because these are malefic planets and Mercury is the planet of news, there is the possibility that there could be some bad news about a financial matter, and it might be something that you're generating, Taurus. You might, I mean, what if your boss comes up and says, well, I want you to do all this extra work, and you being a fixed financial sign, you could be saying, well, am I getting a raise for that? And the answer would be no. They just want you to work harder. This would not go over with the Taurus. And so that's the way it is. There isn't enough money around, and there is, if we live through this summer without a financial crash coming, I'm going to be amazed, because it just looks like it's going to happen. And it would be in things that your sign rules, Taurus, and your sign rules commercial real estate. So it rules office buildings, but a lot of them are empty right now. That's no good. There's still a strong tax base that all those owners have to pay. Or it can be that there are apartment buildings or shopping centers or whatever that are feeling the pinch right now. Maybe it's due to high inflation, I don't know. But whatever financial problems you have, Taurus, I think that you should anticipate pulling in your belt. Okay, don't spend so much right now. And also, if you are wanting to get paid more, I don't think that's going to happen. And it's not a personal decision by somebody. It is a business decision based on the fact that there just isn't enough revenue around. And the other side of that coin is, Taurus, there's way too much debt throughout the world. And you know, the cost of debt keeps going on. And so the debt keeps going on, and there's nothing to show for it. You're always making payments. You're not getting anything back. You just have to keep making the payments. So the debt just keeps going. And you could be affected by that because your sign opposes the sign of Scorpio, and Scorpio rules debt. And so in one way or another, your own financial situation could be affected by the problems other people are having, or other corporations are having, or just that your boss is having. And I think that you should anticipate management changes that will not be in your favor. And it's not due to any of your talent at all, Taurus. It is due to conflicting financial conditions that can be beyond anybody's control, but the people that are in upper management that have to sort of try to stay in business, they've got to do what they have to do. And I think it will affect you somewhat adversely. I don't think that you'll mind it, though, because a Taurus doesn't like to work without getting paid. And so, you know, you could go out and get another job, Taurus. Maybe you should do that. You know, look for a little fairer terms. So, good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Oh, Gemini. Well, Gemini, you have two fantastic planets right ahead of your sun sign, and you have Jupiter in your sun sign, which is being trined by Pluto in Aquarius. So, you know, the opposite could be true for you, Gemini. You could be the person that's in the right place at the right time, and you could be looked upon by upper management. This could be new upper management, or it could be upper management that has to work within a smaller budget. They've got to change their plans a little bit to fit in that, but they could be looking at you and thinking that you have talents that could expand and be of benefit to them, as long as you were not asking for too high a price or too high a salary. And I think that that would be all right with you, Gemini, because the Sun and Venus are in Cancer, completely unopposed and not squared by anything, and they're right ahead of your sun sign. You might agree to a part-time job at a sort of a regular salary that would give you enough time off to do what you need to do at home or with your family. Or you maybe could really take a long summer vacation and still do a job for somebody where you're not getting the highest salary, but you're doing something that keeps your hand in, you're making the boss happy, and you're also able to make your family happy. Your sign rules two of everything. Geminis are very good at being in, not exactly being in two places at once, but in the space of one day, they can manage to do a little of this and a little of that and make it all work. And it doesn't bother anybody. And so I would suggest that you look around for things you would like to get paid for, but also with the idea that you could take a part-time job. That would help your employer because he wouldn't have to pay a full salary that way, and you could still keep your family happy. So I think you can do that. The stars are with you. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when once again, it is like hitting that home run. Remember, that was when there were also no planets squaring or opposing your sun sign. It's happening again today. So, Cancer, you are in the driver's seat in more ways than one. And the reason why, it isn't just that your sign can do no wrong. It is that you have two powerful planets in your sign that are trining two more planets that are very powerful in Pisces. And they're doing it precisely. Now this may never happen again, actually, because Venus is at the 29th degree of fate in your sign, and it is exactly trining Neptune at the 29th degree of fate in Pisces. Remember, Pisces transit is 146 years. So not going to be in Pisces much longer, and it won't be back in our lifetimes. Venus's transit is about 8 months. Takes it about 8 months to get around a chart once. But it takes Neptune 146 years. Do you see how rare it is that Venus and Neptune are trining each other? And Venus is in your sign? And so Cancer, I don't know if you have a dream, a precious dream, or someone that you think is so wonderful and your ideal partner that you want to be with them, and maybe you can be. I would say nothing's holding you back, Cancer. Really, literally, there are no planets squaring and opposing your sun sign. And you've got the tremendous support of a planet also at the 29th degree, exactly trining Venus in your sign. So, Cancer, whoever is your highest ideal, whoever you think is worthy of being a lifetime partner, you should make contact with them. Don't wait any longer. And what do you have to lose? Nothing. Nothing to lose. So make contact with them. Because that could be the basis for sharing your vision or your goals with somebody else who has a similar vision, not the same one, but a similar vision, and may have similar goals. And, we all need partners in life. And Venus rules partnership. But this is going to be a divine partner, not just any old partner. And then you have the Sun at 19 degrees in your sign today, exactly trining Saturn, also in Pisces, at 19 degrees. And it's retrograde. There may have been a time in your life when you couldn't connect to a precious dream or your ideal partner because life got in the way. Maybe you made other decisions. Maybe you had different work to do. But it's not in your way anymore, Cancer. There's nothing stopping you. And you mustn't let time pass now, because planets at the 29th degree of fate have nowhere else to go. And they're trining each other. And your sign is the only sign that has no oppositions or squares. There's just nothing stopping you. But what's in your sign? The Sun and Venus. You can see the light, that's the Sun. You can connect with someone who is your ideal partner. And it looks like they would be thinking the same thing about you, Cancer. You not only don't have anything to lose, look what you have to gain. Happiness for the rest of your life. And that kind of happiness that is divine, it's based on love for each other, and it's based on love of shared goals and shared vision. Not everyone has vision. You're rather lucky, Cancer. I think your ideal partner would have vision, just like you do. A Cancer would believe, you know, give a man a fish, you feed him for one meal. Teach him. And it can save humanity. Because then his family and their families and their families, do you see what I mean? You can feed the world that way by going a step further. And that's an ancient saying. That's been working for a long time. And if you have any idea that you think could last longer than you do, if you could just get it going, I think that this is the right time. And I wouldn't wait, Cancer. It's almost as if you have a higher calling and it's time to answer the call. And you could do it. And that would bring you a new beginning with a partner that's just right for you. And they would think that you were just right for them. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It's you both that count. And that's because you have the vision to do something that could create a forever miracle. Might take you the rest of your lives, but what else do you have to do? Give it a go, Cancer. I wish you the best of luck. There's nothing stopping you. But timing is everything. And planets at the 29th degree are not kidding. And the Sun and Saturn, both at 19 degrees, reducing to the number 1, new beginnings. A long delayed start has to begin now. It's time. All right, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, there is a planet in your sign right now. It's Mercury, the planet of the mind and of communication. There isn't anything else in Aries, and there isn't anything in Sagittarius trining your sun, but you could be full of great ideas right now, Leo, because, you know, your brain could be working overtime. So it's important for you to sort of take your thoughts and maybe put them down on paper, or make an outline of them, or start making some plans, concrete plans that you could review at a later time and look over and see what else you need to do to refine your plans. You could do that. You know, it always helps. People who know what they want, they can say, oh, I know what I want, but they don't know what they're going to run into in order to get it. And so it is a little bit better if you sit down and say, this is what I want to do, this is the time frame that I'm looking at, but this is also a contingency plan over here, or if this doesn't work, then maybe I could start working on this instead, or whatever. In other words, you should be, there aren't enough strong planets in fire signs, and your sign is being horribly squared by Mars and Uranus in Taurus, 2 malefic planets. So you've got money problems, Leo, somewhere. Doesn't mean you're broke. It means that you have serious money problems, though, somewhere. There's going to be a shortfall. The very best thing that you could describe about Mars and Uranus in Taurus right now is the word shortfall. That would be the best. Think of what else is out there. Crash. Who wants to go through a crash? Or fighting about money. Who gets rich when you fight about money? The lawyers do. You don't. In fact, you get poorer. So fighting about money isn't going to do any good. And if you suddenly have the value of your investments drop so that your income falls, you're not in a very good position to make those plans come true. Maybe your budget is going to shrink a little bit. And you have to prepare for that, Leo. And since there is no more support in any of the other fire signs to trine your sun, and you have Mars and Uranus squaring your sign in Taurus, and Pluto in Aquarius is opposing your sun sign, believe it or not, as bad as it is to have 2 malefic planets in Taurus squaring your sun, the long-range adverse effect of Pluto in Aquarius opposing your sun sign for about the next 17 to 20 years is really going to make a change in your life, Leo, and in Taurus's life, and in Scorpio's life. I mean, it's a biggie. And the opposition will hold. It's going to hold. It's going to change it's going to change the financial picture throughout the world, is what it's going to do. And what does Pluto represent? Management. So management at a high level in a government or in an institution or in a large corporation, that management is going to change. And that is going to affect how we handle our money, or even if we have very much money. Why? Because debt. Debt's a crusher. And so, Leo, you got to be real careful. And if you're making plans to do something, that's great. But make some contingency plans. Just if this goes wrong, then I can do this instead. That keeps you going, Leo. You may not be going in the original direction you wanted to go in, but it keeps you going anyway. And that's why you should have contingency plans right now. You know, plan A if there's enough money, plan B if there's not enough money. But you'd still be able to accomplish plan B if you were real careful with your money right now. So give that a thought. All right, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time, Virgo, when once again I think that you are going to take advantage of the fact that Mars and Uranus and Taurus are trining your Sun. And the reason why you can succeed at that right now, Virgo, is because the moon is in your sign today. So the moon in Virgo trining Mars and trining Uranus in Taurus means that you may have some intuition. The moon rules Cancer, and Cancer rules our feelings, and sometimes you could have a little hint right about now, Virgo, of where the money's coming from or where you would like to put it. You can be thinking a lot more about money than people think right now, Virgo, particularly since the moon is in your sign. You could be involved with something that, a financial matter that involves your home or real estate, and that would be residential real estate, not commercial real estate. And you also would be thinking about your family members in one way or another, because the moon rules our family. And so you may be deciding how to disperse some money. For instance, if the market does fall, if there's a shortfall in the market and prices come down, and you have a little extra money somewhere, which a Virgo usually has, and you could buy something at a lower price that you'd been wanting to buy, I would suggest you do that, Virgo. And that might be because you want to do something that maybe benefits your family, or it could benefit a real estate matter in one way or another, or benefit your long-term retirement. Why not? So I think that you should put your fine mind to work right now, Virgo, on where you would, it doesn't mean you could do it right now, but where you would like to put a certain amount of money. And investigate that and see how much it would really cost. Put a pencil to it, and just get different plans or scenarios set up, and then just see if the prices come down to what you feel is affordable, because they might. And there you would be already. And I would think about that, Virgo. You know how important it is to do the book work, because your sign rules accounting. So this is a very good time for you to sort of sit down and say to yourself, well, what if this happens and then that happens, and how can I handle my money and make it work a little harder for me? You could figure that out right now with the moon in your sign trining Mars and Uranus. So I would suggest that you do that. It may all relate to your retirement plans. It really could relate to that. So because your sign trines the sign of Capricorn, and Capricorn rules retirement. And the planets in Taurus are trining the sign of Capricorn as well. There's nothing in Capricorn. But you could be sort of thinking down the road right now, Virgo, and I think you should continue to do that right now. Just figure it all out on paper first. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time, Libra, when I think that you're going to be pretty happy with something. And it could be something almost that sort of comes up behind you, and you don't even see it until it arrives. And the reason why I'm thinking that, Libra, is because Venus is your ruler. And Venus is at the 29th degree of fate in Cancer. Well, the Sun and Venus in Cancer square your Sun. Okay, so they're squaring your Sun. That's what I mean by, I don't think that you're looking at your ideal partner, but you could have one in mind, Libra. And you might not notice that they could be sort of sneaking up behind you. They might be sort of headed your way. There is absolutely nothing stopping the sign of Cancer, and your ruler is in Cancer. That should do you a lot of good, Libra, even if they are squaring your Sun. I mean, a Venus square or a Jupiter square, that doesn't hurt too badly. And also, Jupiter is in Gemini trining your Sun. This would be a good time for you to consider making a partnership with somebody that you feel would be a divine partner. You know, so they would be your highest ideal. Your ruler, Venus, is trining Neptune, and they're both at the 29th degree. That would be the best partner you could ever think of. Might be around, Libra. And maybe they're closer than you think. And I'd sure try to look my best. And also, don't be shy. Get out where people can find you. You know, circulate a little bit more. Be more social. You never know who's waiting, Libra. But Pluto in Aquarius is also trining your Sun. And so, you know, you are under very good aspects, even though Venus and the Sun are squaring your Sun. And so Pluto is retrograde in Aquarius, but it's trining your Sun, and that means whenever there is a change in management, perhaps at the place where you're employed or where you would like to be working, once there is a change in management, since that Pluto is trining your Sun, and will be for years to come, except for a couple months at the end of the summer when it retrogrades back into Capricorn, but it'll be back in Aquarius. And so, you know, with that Pluto trining your Sun for years to come, you might be surprised that you are chosen as somebody you're chosen by somebody that has a lot of authority or power and vision and absolutely knows what they're doing, and they choose you for your talent, and probably because they feel they can work easily with you. You know, yeah, you can have a person that has all the brains in the world and absolutely no way to relate to people, and they don't get anywhere. Because you have to have a way to get along with people. You know, we're not islands here, we're people. We need to get along. And Libras are good at that. So you, surprisingly, you may be chosen above other people that have all the credentials in the world, but not the personality that goes with it. And therefore, somebody who wants cooperation and wants to keep going on their vision may choose you as a partner to go ahead with them. Simply because they feel it would be a good working relationship, or it will be even a divine relationship. And so, Libra, you get out and meet people right now. Although I would think that somebody who has the authority would be pretty careful of what they're doing, and they may have had their eye on you already. Which is fine. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time when naturally, since yours is a fixed sign, you have to be really careful because Mars and Uranus are in Taurus, and they're conjuncting tightly. Ooh, that's going to hurt financially. And they are opposing your sun sign, which means don't spend an extra dollar on anything right now, Scorpio. The price will be too high. You could save your money or sell something, that would be great, and wait till the price comes down and then buy something. But right now, the financial fortunes of a lot of people, including wealthy people, are going to change. And you would be wiser to concentrate a little bit more on your own plans and how they can involve some sort of forever miracle. And the reason why you'd be wiser to concentrate on that instead of sort of financial situations that are only more or less antagonistic, or else completely out of your control and you can't do anything about them anyway, instead of concentrating on that for right now, or power changes that you can't do anything about, just let them go. There'll be other people that you can work well with. But the point is, Scorpio, that there is a trine of 4 planets perfectly trining each other in the water signs, and they are all trining your sun. And 2 of them are at the 29th degree of fate. Venus in Cancer is at the 29th degree of fate, and so is Neptune in Pisces, and they are both trining each other and your sun as well. And so, Scorpio, you are probably a person who is being looked upon as a perfect partner right now. And it might be by somebody that you think is a perfect partner as well. And that is because the sign of Cancer has nothing going against it at all in any way. And so you may be contemplating a move. Cancer rules moving, and it could be back home. Cancer rules the home. But it could be where you grew up, or it could be a little bit closer to what makes you comfortable. So it could be back in an old neighborhood. It would not be with the same people, it would be with new people, but it would make you feel better. There's something in Scorpio in your life that is about to make you feel a lot better. I don't think it's a financial situation. I think it has something to do with making a precious dream come true at last, even though life got in the way for years. Even though your life sort of, had its little bumps in the road from time to time. There wouldn't be any going forward. You've already been through that. The past teaches us lessons that we should remember, but it doesn't mean we need to remember the past. We need to remember the lessons they taught us in order to go forward. And you're going to be able to do that with Venus and the Sun in Cancer trining your sun. If you haven't found true love, it's probably staring right at you, Scorpio, or else it's on its way. And it would be the best that you'd always dreamed of. It would be somebody that was just right for you. Okay, maybe nobody else in the world would think they were just right, but who cares? It matters what you think. If you have to live with them, it really matters what you think. And they could be perfect for you. It may be that you find somebody, or you know of somebody, that shares your vision in one way or another. Vision is the ability to see things that aren't there, to see things beyond. And it isn't just having faith in that, it's being able to compile the knowledge that could make a miracle work. People with vision have that. They have the vision first, and then they say, I think we could make that work. And they go and do it. And you could find a divine partner that would represent a precious dream of yours that you have had for years, Scorpio. And it could come true now. It has nothing to do with money. And it has everything to do with love. Not just love for each other, but because love is eternal. It means you'd be with somebody that believes in you, and you believe in them, and together that forms the basis or the foundation for making a wonderful miracle come true that would last longer than your life. Whatever you and someone else do that is a perfect partner for you, it's going to last longer than you are, Scorpio. And so go ahead and start small. It won't stay small. It'll work. And you're just going to be able to go forward. And there will be many more miracle workers after you that will keep the ball rolling. And so believe in yourself. But find that dream. You actually know who they are. They're not somebody you just bumped into lately. You may never have talked to them, but they've been around a while and you know it. And then you need to do something about it right now. because your happiness is at stake too. You know, you don't want any more bumps in the road, do you? Wouldn't it be nice if the rest of your life, it might involve a lot of work, but with the right partner, it's a symbol, the work is a symbol of eternal love, and it'll last longer than you will. And this is the time to go for it. Venus trine Neptune at 29th degree of fate, exactly. The Sun trining Saturn at 19 degrees in Pisces, exactly. And all 4 of them trining your Sun. You're the beneficiary of all that, Scorpio. And I hope you realize how rare this configuration is and what it really means. You know, a forever miracle. Yes, that's where we're at right now. Go ahead. You not only benefit greatly, it may embolden you to work harder and make that miracle even bigger and better. And it'll last longer than you and the person you love. And that's the way love should be. Eternal. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius. This is a time, Sagittarius, when there is one planet in a fire sign. It's Mercury in Leo, and it's trining your Sun. So you can get some good news about the things that Leo rules. And so Leo rules sports. It rules gambling, but you shouldn't gamble no matter what, Sagittarius. However, it rules children, and it rules summer fun, and it rules parties. And so, you know, you could be going to things that are not too expensive right now, but they could involve a lot of other people, and you could just sort of join the crowd and have a good time. And it's more fun to do that with others than to be by yourself, isn't it, Sagittarius? It should be. Your sign rules long-distance travel. So yes, you would love to take a long trip, but how much would that cost, Sagittarius? There really is going to be some sort of shortfall while Mars and Uranus are conjuncting each other in Taurus, a fixed financial sign. It's going to affect everybody. And so if I were you, Sagittarius, if there's a possibility you could plan a little shorter trip, or you may know of somebody else that wants to take a short trip right now, that would not exactly be everything you want, but it's better than nothing. Maybe you could go along with that and just do that. I think that this is a time, Sagittarius, when you should bend a little bit. And by that I mean is try not to have everything your own way. Sagittarians are pretty broad-minded people. They're not pushy people. They do act fast, because all the fire signs are impulsive and they act fast. But if somebody wants to do something that's just a weekend trip, or just a trip to the mountains or to the seashore, and it's not halfway around the world, and it's not real expensive, I'd just say yes and do it, Sagittarius. It won't cost you much, and it'll make the other person happy. And in turn, if they're happy, they can make you happy. That would be nice. And so, do you see what I mean? There can be a great deal of pleasure in small things, Sagittarius. They don't all have to be big. And so this is some thing that you should concentrate on a little bit more, because Jupiter is your ruler, and it is in Gemini, and it is opposing your sun sign. Other people want to do things sort of casually or in a short-term period of time, and I think you should just go along and say yes. It isn't everything you want, but if it makes them happy, well, you do want their happiness, don't you? So if they're happy, you'll be happy too, I think. And also, this is a very good time for you to think about brushing up your skills in some area where you only have to work on it a little bit at a time in order to do that. So you can make small improvements right now, and they would tend to benefit you more than you think, Sagittarius. Just a short course, or something you want to do around the house that you've always been meaning to sort of get it right. Well, it's summertime. This would be a good time to do that. So since there is only one planet in a fire sign, but it's trining your sun, it can embolden you to think better. Mercury is the planet of the mind, and it's in Leo. or it could mean that you could have much better communication with people. And if I were you, I would work on the communication a little bit more, because you'll be very busy by the end of the year. Only you got to get on that road first, Sagittarius. So just take some small steps right now. I think you'll be glad you did. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, there are 3 planets in the earth signs right now, and they all trine your sun, Capricorn, because the moon is in Virgo today, and so are Uranus and Mars in Taurus. And so all 3 of those planets are trining your sun, which is good. It is a little bit, it's good because it would mean that Capricorn, you'd sort of have a really good idea of not only where your money is, but you would be in the mood to be somewhat frugal right now and not be spending too much money. And it could be because you just want to keep your hands on what's yours right now in anticipation, possibly, of looking around for something that you really want to buy when the prices fall, which they are expected to do soon. And so that's fine. I mean, maybe you're just sort of being a little bit more careful with your money right now and not spending too much of it. But that isn't because you're being cheap or anything. It's that you might be just putting money away right now in order to pay for something down the road that is important to you. And that would be just fine, because all 3 planets in the earth signs are trining your sun. That's great. The really good news, though, is about your ruler, Capricorn. Your ruler is Saturn. Today, Saturn is at 19 degrees of Pisces. It is being trined precisely by the Sun in Cancer, also at 19 degrees. And so it doesn't get better than being trined by the Sun. But Venus is also in Cancer, trining that Saturn as well. When Venus and Saturn trine each other, it is an indication that old friends get together, that old friends really enjoy each other's company. And these could be childhood friends, or these could be friends you've had for a very long time. But it would be rather nice to get together with them, and this would be a good time to do that, Capricorn. And so I think that you should make some time for that. And if it costs a little bit of money, that is money well spent. Because there's love involved. You know, they say old friends are the best friends. And these would be people that you've known since childhood, or they may have been people that you've known since your early career days. And that would be nice to get to see them, or maybe you're going to a school reunion or something like that. That would be just great. So I think that you're on solid ground right now because of the 3 planets in the earth signs that are all trining your sun. And because your own ruler, Saturn, is being trined as well by the Sun and Venus in Cancer, because Saturn is in Pisces, and Pisces sextiles your sun sign. You're sort of getting the benefit of people, other people who may have a lot of vision, who are wanting to get together at a sort of a divine love level in order to work on a forever miracle. You may actually know some people that are going to be involved in that, Capricorn, and they would like your very sensible suggestions and way of thinking and the way you handle things. I mean, you know, if you're gonna try to go ahead and make some sort of miracle happen, it's really going to take a lot of work. And so people like you, Capricorn, who are pretty good workers, could find yourself in demand as time goes on. Even if you're not thinking of that, you could be in demand as time goes on. Particularly if you have some friends with vision that want to put together a forever miracle. You might be involved with that, Capricorn, in one way or another down the road. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius. This is a time, Aquarius, when, yes, yours is a fixed sign, so you've got to be very, very careful what you do with your money. And that is because Mars and Uranus in Taurus are squaring your sun, Aquarius, where you have Pluto, and Pluto is the co-ruler of the other fixed financial sign. So I don't know if you have a lot of debt, but you could have tax problems, or you could have some sort of financial problem simply because the value of your investments has fallen. That could happen to a lot of people. And so you'd have to work a little bit harder on things like that. And then Mercury in Leo is opposing Pluto in your sign. And you know, Aquarius, I think that means that you're not going to budge on something. And the reason why is that no matter how much somebody is trying to talk you into something, because Mercury rules communication, you have got your mind on bigger things. You know, Pluto's in your sign. Pluto rules upper management. Well, that Pluto in your sign is being beautifully trined by Jupiter in Gemini. And that's great. That means that on a shorter term basis or on a part-time basis, you would be very attractive and be able to make some sort of a powerful or administrative decision that involves somebody else wanting to do things part-time or in a way that can help you out while you're continuing with your administrative duties as well. You know, it isn't exactly like having a sidekick, but it is more like having somebody that has a special talent that you need right now, and you're deciding to make the choice for the person that can get you going along the road to a wonderful miracle. And that would be good. You might be picking up some new help, Aquarius. And you know, it's what you need. You do not need to stay in the same old rut. You just don't need it. You're going to be in a far different place by the time Pluto leaves your sign in about 17 or 20 years. The change will be with you, Aquarius. Well, your sign does rule the future. That makes sense. I mean, nobody can stop the future. And you're going to be really involved in it, Aquarius. But I would take it just a little, one step at a time right now, because these planets in Taurus are harshly squaring your sun, and Mercury in Leo is opposing your sun. I think you have to get away from argumentative people or financial conditions that you have no control over. Try to cut ties. Don't go down with the ship, Aquarius. You'll have to make some sort of change. But Gemini rules change, and Gemini has Jupiter in it trining your sun for a whole year. You should be going through change. Even if they're incremental changes, in a year from now, that'll really add up. So good luck, Aquarius. Try to consider making some changes now. And it would be on the basis of finding people that you like, that are easier to get along with. That'll do you a lot of good. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces. This is a time, Pisces, when I think that if anybody is going to create a forever miracle, it could be you. And that's because the strongest planet in the heaven is Neptune, your own ruler, at the 29th degree of fate and retrograde in your sign, where it has been for the last 12 years, but it's getting ready to leave. And Saturn, okay, and so that Neptune is being trined beautifully and exactly by Venus in Cancer, also at the 29th degree of fate. Pisces, in one way or another, you either are going to walk into love, and maybe somebody that you already know you care about, but what I mean by walking into love is actually doing something about it. And if it isn't that, then it could be a family member that you are helping out in some way because you love them or you understand them, and that would be good too. And so I think, you know, Pisces, it's like you're going to take somebody under your wing, and it might be two people, but you would be able to do that. Remember, I said in its highest form, Pisces rules divinity. And it means sort of universal love. And it means seeing the best and wanting to see the best in others. And it can be with Venus at the 29th degree of Cancer exactly trining your own ruler, Neptune, in your sign, that you know in your heart who would be an ideal partner of yours. And you've known that for a while. And you've got to do something about it right now. These two planets are both at the 29th degree. They have nowhere else to go. And there really isn't much stopping them at all. There's nothing stopping Venus and the Sun in Cancer because there are no squares or opposition to that sign. If you were thinking of doing something good for America, this is exactly the right time to do it, Pisces. And it could be something that is starting with a vision of yours and of somebody else that you think very highly of. You'd be working in partnership with somebody else that is your ideal partner. And I would think that that should have happened before, but didn't, because life got in the way. In other words, you may have taken a different life path, and they may have taken a different life path, but now is the time to join and get together. And that is because of these planets that are at the 29th degree, Venus and Neptune, indicating an ideal love, a divine love. And Pisces, you can't get that by yourself. It takes two. And yours is a double-bodied sign. So if you've been putting off some sort of way of getting together with an ideal partner, if you've been making a whole lot of excuses, I would say you should not continue that, because these planets will move on, and so will your dream. And that would be a heartbreaker. Do something about it now, Pisces. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And by that I mean, whatever you're going to do for the rest of your life, Pisces, it won't have half as much meaning if you're trying to do it by yourself. It won't. It'll leave you empty in some way. But if you join with your ideal partner, it doesn't matter what anybody else says about this person. If you think they're right for you, go for it. Because they will be right. You know, it's your heart that's going to be doing the talking. And it's their heart that's going to be doing the talking too. And you've known that for a long time. And so you've got to go forward now. And, you know, if Pisces in its highest form rules divinity, then that means in some way we are all meant, despite whatever our limitations are, or our shortcomings, or our faults, we are meant to do God's work in one way or another. Might be a small way, might be a way that lasts for centuries. You know, a forever miracle. But this happens to be the time to do it. And at least it's the time to start the partnership. And then once you do that, keep going. You know, two heads are better than one, Pisces. And it'll be delightful. It'll be something that you've never encountered before. Because they're going to think as highly of you as you do of them. Oh, they say love is eternal. And that's the kind of love it'll be, the eternal kind. And that will free you up for you and your partner to probably make some sort of effort to promote an absolutely wonderful forever miracle. And don't you think that's what you're born for, Pisces? No matter what your daily needs are, no matter what habits you have formed, no matter how much trouble you've ever gotten into in your life, you know you're meant to do something good. Pisces has that kind of heart. It's a good heart. And you either can spend the rest of your life just thinking about yourself, or you can go out and find a partner that will help you do something good for the world. Well, there's not a moment to waste, Pisces. You can't argue with the way these planets are set up, because they're precise. And that's why you've got to keep going. Good luck. I wish you the best. But you've just got to sort of speak up and stand up. Do what you know is right for you. And that involves somebody else. It's the person that is convinced that you're right for them too. Isn't that nice? All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Sorry this got to be a little bit long. I wish all of you a really good week, and I hope that you consider joining with other miracle workers, and hey, let's see if we can make it a better place, because I think we can. Because remember, love is eternal, and as long as we care with our hearts, we'll achieve our dreams. And that's the important thing. All right, thanks so much. You can subscribe to my Karen Campbell YouTube channel, and I hope you tell your friends about that. And you can read the blog on my website, starborninstitute.org, and that explains a little bit more about the show. So until then, I'll see you next week. Bye.